Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I am greeting you in a way that you're watching this video. So today I want to talk about the valley, but what I titled it as is the meadows. Okay, and the reason why I titled it as the meadows is because when you think about a water meadow, you think of, for me, I think about the water. I think about the insects. I think about the grass growing through the water. So I think about many different things when I think about a meadow. So I'm gonna get into it and let's talk about the meadow, but the valley, because God says valley. So but I wanted to use the term meadow, but to drive home exactly what I am saying. Okay, I feel like the meadow is like a perfect analogy for what the valley really entails. Okay, all right, so let's get started. It says, you grow even though you felt like you were drowning. Okay, so I hope this can relate to somebody, and even if you don't even know what you're going through, I wanna give you like some encouragement. Even though it feels like you're drowning, doesn't mean that you're actually drowning. Okay, so for like a perfect example is like, even though you let go of a bad relationship, it may feel like you're suffering, but you're also growing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because the bad relationship is the reason why you suffered. So it feels like you're suffering when you're separated because you developed a coping mechanism to blind out the suffering. Okay, because in all reality, if you cut off a bad relationship, that means it was unhealthy for you. Okay, whether if it was toxic, whether if it was like manipulative, or you guys wasn't going in the same direction. Like, so I just want to say, like, even though you feel like you're suffering, you're still growing. It's just you feeling the effects of you coming out of what was already toxic, if that makes sense. So you're going to feel those effects. Whatever you were blind to, you're going to slowly become aware of. You're going to be like, holy crap. And you're going to feel the effects of whatever you experience. So what I'm saying here is just because you feel that pain and you feel like you're drowning doesn't mean that you're not growing. Understand, your body has to detox. Same thing with if you were drinking, if you're a person that used to drink. Understand, your body has to go through a detox. So as you're going through a detox, there's going to be a period where you feel like, is this the right decision? Even though naturally you know it's the right decision, but it will make you question because the experience that you're experiencing. Okay, so it'll make you question, the effects of it. You be like, hold on, wait, am I tripping right now? I know I'm doing the right thing, but why does it feel like I'm not doing the right thing? Yeah, just because you're drowning doesn't mean that you're not doing the right thing. We know that, okay, if we stop drinking, this is an ultimate good thing, but we're going to have to go through that period of detoxing. Okay, we're going to have to go through that period of withdrawal. You know what I'm saying? In order to see them better days. So yes. So I wanted to prove a point in regards of, Joseph. So through every opposition, God exalted him. If you know the story about Joseph and his brothers, and God coming to Joseph in his dream and letting him know, like, listen, you're going to be a leader. And listen, his brothers became very, very jealous of that. So, but when Joseph told his brothers, that means that he went through a season of just trials and tribulations due to his brothers being jealous. So, but in every situation, he was exalted. God was always with him through every situation. So even when he was put in jail, you know what I'm saying? He was exalted in that position. Even though that was an oppositional position, God still used that to his advantage. So I just want to say, even though you're feeling like you're drowning, even though you're feeling like you're low, doesn't mean that God isn't with you and that he's not going to make this situation better and want to turn it into a position where you can benefit off of it. Okay, especially if you're walking in the path of God. I just want to put that out there, period. Because Joseph was a man of God. And God was like, listen, okay, you go through these things, but I'm going to exalt you. Whatever position that you are in, whether if you're in jail, whether if you're in slavery, whether if whatever the case may be. And God definitely put them in position, regardless. So doesn't matter what position that you're in, whatever position that you're in, God is in control of all things. So yes, so I put here, when you think of meadows, you think of water, grass, bugs, a whole ecosystem. Like there's a whole thing. Like it's just like, okay. So I want you to think about a water meadow, and just think about everything that it entails. Like if you put your mindset in a meadow, you're like, oh, okay. Like we know that there's a lot of water. We know that. We know that there's grass growing through the water. We know that there's bugs, there's flies, there's whatever the case may be. So put your mind in that perspective really fast. So I put, what is a water meadow? So, and I wrote the definition down. It says, refers to a grassy region that is intentionally flooded in order to boost the land's agricultural output. So now that we have a visual image of a water meadow, and then going off the definition, and I want to use that keyword intentionally. It's an intentionally flooded area to boost the land agricultural output. So this means that this was they intentionally do this to increase whatever they need from our agriculture. Okay, so this process is intentional. Without the process, it will be minimal output. It will be minimal output. So what I'm saying here is, listen, without the process, and I'm going to go back to Joseph, without the process, Joseph would not have been able to be that king and that leader of Egypt. Okay, so it was that intentional action of God, because once again, God is control of everything. So if you're experiencing something, understand He allowed it. He allowed it. Okay, so this is what I'm saying. He was intentionally flooded. Joseph was intentionally flooded. That means that this man had to go through trials and tribulations. He had to wean his way out of the trials and tribulations. He had to grow through some water. He had to grow through something. Like he had to grow into the person that God wanted him to be in order to be the king of Egypt. So this is what I'm saying. This is why I said I wanted to use the analogy of meadows, a water meadow at that, because you have to, it's intentional. A watermelon is intentional. It says, it refers to a grassy region that is intentionally flooded in order to boost the land agricultural output. So it's to boost up whatever's already being produced. Okay, so it's to ramp up. Okay, this is what I'm saying. This is exactly what I'm saying. So listen, and then I go into here. I said, why? Without the intentional intervention, the source is limited to its own capabilities. Tell me that don't line up, okay? Tell me that don't line up. Tell me it don't line up. Tell me because it's a perfect definition. And the same thing with God. If God do not intervene, and we don't trust on His strength, and we lean on our own strength, what is it? Are we limited? We are. We are limited. So when God intervenes, He's intentionally flooding in order to boost the land and boost our capabilities, our abilities for our output. I hope it makes sense. I'm just saying, okay? I'm just saying. So listen, when you're going through your journey and you feel like you're flooded, you feel like you're overwhelmed, you feel like you're constantly going through trials and tribulations, it's intentional. And I want you to have, if you see this video, keep it in mind. Consider yourself a water meadow, okay? Because you are in the process of being intentionally flooded to boost your agricultural output, okay? That's all I want to say. That's all I want to say. If this resonates with you, please like, share, and comment, and please share it with somebody, because I feel like somebody needs to hear that. I feel like somebody needs to know that. Okay, this is why I wanted to make the video that it came on my spirit, and I said, all right, I'm ready to talk about this one. I'm ready to talk about this one, because we need to feel that. I know when I was going through my storm, I'm like, God, how, like, what is going on? And thank God, like, God was with me. God was with me, and he was like, he was really working with me, and I knew that. You know what I'm saying? So I knew that what I was experiencing, I was growing. Although I felt the pains, and sometimes a lot of people aren't, and I would be very, very transparent with you. A lot of people aren't, transparent enough or even understand enough to know that, okay, these are growing pains. And some people fall at the hands of their pain. You know what I'm saying? And some people don't make it through. They don't make it through because the pain is too bare to suffer. It's not easy picking up the cross and following God. It's not easy to, choose God every day. It's not easy to put down your sin. God says, listen, I put before you life and death. You choose. You pick up that cross every day, and you choose every day, day in and day out. And when you pick up that cross, understand that's when God begins to work with you. It's not just, okay, you're following and he's talking to you and you're going out and you're reaching out. No, he's going to deal with you in regards of your iniquities. He's going to deal with you in regards of your shortcomings. He's going to deal with you in regards of everything that you need to deal with, whether if it's your anger, whether if it's your bitterness, whether if it's your forgiveness, whether if it's your, he's going to work all of that. And it's very, very painful. And I can keep on going. It is coming to me in regards of depression, in regards of, drinking, in regards of smoking, and people people use these things because they're trying to escape from payment. And understand, God is going to work. He's going to sit with you and work with you in regards of that. And even when he's sitting with you and working with you, sometimes that's even still unbearable. But I just want you to remember that you are a water meadow. And it's intentionally flooded. Okay? And sometimes what we feel is deemed bad is ultimately for our good, because who wants to be flooded? Because sometimes even when things are flooded, things do die out. Not everything overcomes a flood. But as you see, there are blades of grass that actually, grow through and flourishing. So yes, this was my purpose of making this video. And I was so excited when I'm like, yo, this came to me. Yeah, I'm ready for this. Because in the valley, we in the valley, but I want to talk about when we feel them floods. Because sometimes it's a flood when that storm comes. Sometimes we feel like there's no drains. And what I mean drains, no outputs. I can't work. Who can I lay it on? Who can I talk to? Yeah, we can talk to God, but sometimes we want to talk to people too. And I can feel you on that part. I can feel you on that part. And this is why I make the videos that I make, because I can feel you on that part. It was times where I'm like, yo, who can I talk to? Nobody. I feel like nobody will understand what I'm actually talking about and what I'm actually feeling right now. Like it was heavy, and I knew it was heavy. I knew it was heavy. Sometimes we know it's heavy, but like, yo, this is way too deep just to be talking to anybody. And if I did talk to anybody, they probably think like I'm crazy it's like, nah. I can carry it, but I need somebody to talk to. So I get it. So I put here, so though you walk through the valley of this, though you walk through the valley, you shouldn't fear no evil, because that goes back to the scripture. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, because thy rod and thy staff shall comfort me. So yes, even though we may go through the storms, even though we may face certain things, because God is going to have us face our own stuff. Even though we face our own stuff, we should not fear, because it's not going to overcome us. Because if God stand before me, who can be against me? And if you partner up with God, regardless of whatever, I don't want to, whatever demon you face, it's not going to overcome you. But how big is your faith? How big is your trust on God? It goes back to that. How big is it? Even though he said it's a mustard seed, but that mustard seed, when it comes to when you fighting things, it's big, because you like, yo, my faith feel real small right now. So yes, I put here, it's all intentional. If you haven't got it now, I hope you get it. I hope you get it now. It's all intentional. It's intentional. I don't know why this came on to me. I'm like, yo, this is good. This is good. Because I knew it was intentional when I was going through my stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, it's intense. But it's intentional. Because who would have thought? If you would have known me, like, what, 5 years ago? Who would have thought? It's intentional. And understand, God is going to multiply. Okay? He's going to multiply. Period. You just got to trust in it. And you got to hold on to it. Okay? Regardless of what you go through, hold on to it. God, I don't know what's going on, but I keep my eyes on you. I won't look at nothing else. I won't worry about nothing else. I keep my eyes on you. Period. I said, though there is water above the ground, the grass grows above the ground and higher than the water. So all I'm saying here is that, listen, even though it's a flood, and when I say a flood, I'm talking about your issues, your problems, whatever you're battling. Even though you see that flood and you're like, yo, how am I going to make it through? Understand, God is going to catapult you through. You're going to be that blade of grass that actually surpass the surface water level. Yeah. And everybody gonna know, be like, yeah, that God, I was God's one. That's that one right there. That's one. He was that one. Period. So don't worry about the flood. I want you to stay focused on God. Stay focused on Jesus Christ. Stay focused on what he's talking to you about, what he's working on you about, and that's it. Worry about whatever is at hand. If he's working on you with forgiveness, don't worry about your divorce. Don't worry about your drinking habit. Don't worry about your smoking habit. Worry about that forgiveness that he has you focused on. If he have you focused on your drinking habit, okay, worry about your drinking habit. Don't worry about your smoking habit. Don't worry about your sexual immorality. I'm not saying it's excusable, but what I'm saying is, if God is working on you in one area, that's one area you need to be working on. Because understand, if you're focused on other different things, that is a distraction on what you hear God talking to you about. How can you focus on everything? How can you focus on God, what God is talking to you about, if you focus on everything else? That is also another way of the enemy distracting you, trying to, confuse you from the words of God. Now, don't worry about nothing else. He's going to work with you. And that's coming from somebody that was doing it all. And he works with me one thing at a time. Literally, okay? I was doing one thing. He said, listen, I got convicted. He said, you need to start working on this. Okay, cool. Got you. He ain't say to you, listen, this is like, I need you to do this. He knows his child. He knows. So he's going to work at your pace and at his pace. Y'all going to be working together in unison, okay? He's not going to, no. All I'm saying is, if you hear God talking to you in regards of one thing, focus on that. He will, if you're doing other sins and doing whatever that you know is not supposed to be right, he'll get to that. You're going to get convicted for that. I'm not going to tell you that you're not. You are. But if he's talking to you in regards of one thing, focus on that one thing. Because the last thing you want to do is allow confusion to come in, allow doubt to come in, allow any of that coming in, especially when he's trying to work with you in regards of what he's working with you with. You don't need any openings in regards of the enemy trying to come in to do any of that. No, if you hear God talking to you in regards of one thing, do it. And that goes back to my video, you're doing enough. I was speaking about, listen, if you are doing what God has called you to do and he told you your step, you're doing enough. Don't focus on anything else because he's going to get to that. That goes back into timing. God's timing. Stop trying to move out of God's timing and out of God's alignment. Ooh, I like that. But yeah, like, no. If he's talking to you about one thing, focus on that one thing. If you're worried about another thing, go to prayer about it. God, listen, I know you told me to do this. I'm kind of worried about this. Can you talk to me about it? Can you come to my spirit about it? Whatever the case may be, go into prayer about it. But if you distinctively heard him talk to you in regards to one thing, focus on that and do everything that you can in regards to that. If you need me to give you an example, I'm going to give you an example. If he's talking to you about sexual immorality, so listen, it's time for you to give that up. Understand everything that you should be doing, I'm going to give you an example just to drive it home. Abstaining from videos, abstaining from websites, abstaining from, self-pleasure, abstaining from any temptation. Like, yeah, that is doing everything in your might to do what God has called you out of. Hope it makes sense. So yes. And I put here, your storm is necessary. Just because you experience rain, storm, flooding doesn't mean that you will not grow through. I hope that just drives that home and everything in regards to what I said. Like, listen, it's intentional, okay? It's intentional. The rain and the storm and the flooding, all of that, is to wipe all that out. It's to help you identify what you need to identify, because he's going to help you identify, your faith, your lack, your iniquities, your fears, your disbelief, your all of that. He's going to, through the storms, the flood and all of that, he's going to help you identify what you are definitely going to know yourself by the time you are done with your storm. You are going to know yourself in and out. If you think you don't know yourself now, you're going to know yourself once you are done. Not even you. Once God is done with you, you've been like, sheesh. You're going to be very grateful, because not only is he going to show you, but he's going to help you work you through that. He's going to help you overcome that. And then you can go back and say, I remember when, because I remember when. I remember when. And this is why I have so many stories in my videos, because I'm like, yo, I remember when. I can remember. So yes, I hope this video was edifying for you guys. I really enjoyed doing this video. And I look forward to talking to you guys next time. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment, please.